So, hello, Jane, and welcome to the Anti-Aging Uncensored podcast.
Hello, Jill Gilbert. Miss you.
I love you, miss you too. So, I think we've known each other. I was trying to do the math. You're probably better at the math than I am, but like, how many years have we known each other? It's like
more than 5, less than 10.
Yes.
I think it started with CES. So, how old is the Digital Health Summit?
So this will be its 12th year, but I have been doing it for 11 years. So I think it's
like 8-ish.
Oh, maybe.
I think it's probably because I started going to CES 9 years ago and probably started digital health the year after that. So anyway, it's been a while. Together close to a decade, darling.
Well, I think you know this about me. I am a total product junkie. It's one of my favorite things I get to kind of cover at CES. I think you're a product junkie too. Are you part of that club?
Honey, yes, from way, way back.
Awesome. So I don't know about you, but for me, one of my favorite things to do is to find something, is to find like one thing that I can, like when I find something that I can get behind, I want to share it. It's how I have found so many great things in my life. And, and it doesn't even just have to be makeup, right? It's like everything, like a kitchen tool or things that just make our life better, make us feel better. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, which is share your best stuff.
I am so in this.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So before we dive in, I want to hear a little bit about you and tell us about like your history a little bit and what brought you to where you are today.
Oh my goodness. Let's try to keep it Twitter-sized if we can, or at least a paragraph. So I grew up in the Midwest in Michigan, outside of Detroit, went to University of Michigan for all my education, eventually studied health economics for a lot of reasons that people can read about on my blog at Health Populi. healthpopuli.com. Long story short, I'm really keen on the intersection between people, technology, and health. And so lots of my favorite things have to do with health and technology from head to toe. And I'm wearing some of them right now, which people can't see on the podcast. I'm very keen on my creative sides to live a full and balanced life. I love my work as a health economist and advisor, and what Andre Blackman, my friend, calls being a trend weaver, a forecaster. But I'm also extremely keen on keeping a home, not like Martha Stewart as much as just home keeping. My space is important, the art around me, music playing, and I use arts in daily life as well to keep even. I love to cook as an art and a therapy, and we'll talk more about that later. So it's really this balanced life, and I have a very rich one. I have a lot of love in my life, came from a close family, have a close family now, and my friends are my virtual family, and that would include you. So sweet to be with you.
Lucky me.
Mutual.
So so your background also is working with a lot of consumer goods companies, right? Like some of the biggies.
Yeah. So when you started health economics in the 90s, you work with hospitals and health plans and doctors, and then I started to work with pharma. I moved to London with my husband, who's an international banker. And so in London is where I really cut my teeth on information technology and pharma, because National Health Service, the single payer, has to keep a budget because they cover everybody. And when you keep a budget, you're actually more innovative. You adopt technology to keep costs down and improve outcomes. So I really cut my teeth on tech when I lived in London. And then when I came home, kept working in health tech with providers, but also increasingly with IT, information tech, and then increasingly consumer tech, big food, and I even have an auto client that is looking at the future of wellness in the car. So, and as a girl from Detroit, that's like kicky and fun. So yeah, I try to keep a bird's eye view across all the silos. And that's another part of my branding, is that I really try to be holistic and think about the consumer's whole life outside of the healthcare system, so he can self-care and drive outcomes at home. And we've really learned the value of that during the COVID pandemic, is the fear of leaving home, the fear of going out instead of the fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. The FOGO is the acronym, and so many of us really don't want to go out and risk. We might have older people in our life or people with existing conditions that are risk, and even for ourselves. So I think this idea of self-care, which you're very keen on, and the home as the health hub across all parts of health are important. And that's why increasingly I've worked with other segments beyond medical care, because I'm really keen on people taking control when they can. And then when you need care, obviously go to the most excellent, high quality health care you possibly can in your network, so you can keep your financial wellness about you as well.
Amen to that. So today we're going to tap into Jane's favorites. So we're going to do them in categories. So what I had asked Jane to do was I picked a bunch of categories and asked her to sort of list out the things that are, I call them I think I use the word desert island products, but they're the things that matter and kind of the things you have maybe on reorder. So, the categories we're going to cover today are skincare and makeup, technology for our bodies and our health, which, Jane has definitely tapped into, activities and hobbies, which we need for our mental health, our physical health, everything. We're going to talk about her can't live without, I call them me care services. Those are the sort of personal care services we talked about, or the personal care services Jane talked about. And last will be sort of the nutrition / kitchen area. And so I think we should just kick it off with skincare and makeup, which is always the most fun, the sort of beauty section. So why don't you start with your favorites? So
philosophically, the skin to me is the eye to health and age, and it actually can help you lie about your age. I have really great skin. I'm very lucky. But the pre-product promotion is that, which is really important, is that as a child, I did not spend a lot of time in the sun. And that laid the groundwork for a healthy skin health for the rest of my life. So if you have young children, lather them in SPF 100 as much as possible every single day, even in the clouds. So we start there. When we think about SPF, though, for me, because I won't leave home without covering my face, even in the clouds, I love IT Cosmetics CC Cream 50 SPF. And this is the illumination. There's a little pink tone to it. I'm incredibly fair, which people can't see. I have very dark hair, but I'm very pale. So I tend to go fair color, even though, and you wouldn't guess because I have dark hair, but I burn because I don't go in the sun. So this IT Cosmetics CC Cream Illumination, and they have different formulations, I love, and I do the fair, which is the lightest of the light. The people who burn wear this. Very blonde people like you might wear this.
I do wear that. That is exactly mine. I think we might be the same shade. But what's great also is they go, from the lightest of the lights to the darkest of the dark. So they have skin.
Do.
Yeah.
They do. I love that. They're such an inclusive company. Jamie Kern-Lima, the founder of IT Cosmetics, started her career with dermatologists, working with medical people to create makeup. So this is medical grade skincare, which is one reason I love it. And it really does work well. I was at Seneca Lake a couple weeks ago with my husband, rented a house, Airbnb, needed to get away. COVID cleaning, Airbnb tells the truth about that. I wore this when I went out to the lake on the kayak. This can serve as your SPF when you're out for an hour or two on a boat. You wouldn't wear it all day, but this is great stuff. So that is the foundation / SPF. Under that then, morning and night, I swear by Dr. Perricone, and I'm holding up for Jill on our Zoom call, the day and the night neuropeptide cream. It is not inexpensive, but it lasts forever. You can get on a subscription plan with perriconemd.com, and it really does last a long time. You wear the white tube is your day, underneath everything once you clean your skin, and the brown tube is amazing because when you put it at night, when you wake up in the morning, you can see how beautiful your skin is. So I love Dr. Perricone across many categories, but since I couldn't show you all of my products, I wanted to share those with you. And then below the chin, under the neck, down to the décolleté, the neuropeptide sub D cream is what you put on your neck. Broad spectrum SPF 25, and you start at your chest and you move it up under your chin like you're massaging up against gravity. And this stuff is magic. And I do it all the way around my neck, which a QVC person showed me how to do. I bring up QVC because that's a great place to buy Perricone in bulk, and they're one of the largest employers in my county. QVC is local to me, the studio. I'm lucky because it's fun to visit there. Sure.
QVC is like me running, like people who love politics running C-SPAN all day. I'll just leave QVC on in the background. So yeah, they're awesome.
They have a great makeup department in terms of their categories, and they buy in, of course, bulk because they're in millions of homes. But you can get supersized. Same thing with the IT Cosmetics. They do a supersize of that a couple times a year. So I should say I'm an economist and I'm married to a banker. So I'm really into the value, even though this stuff is not cheap. It's value because it works. So every dollar you're spending on anything I mentioned today is a value in terms of value for money and outcome. And I want to emphasize that because not every cream you might buy at the grocery store or a big box store is great. Although I know Costco and BJ's carry Strivectin and other high-end brands. So you just have to know your brand and your prices. Anyway, those are sort of the face health products. And there's one other segment of beauty, of makeup, that's really important to me, which my mother inculcated to me from a young age, and that is lipstick. So I am just a lipstick queen. There's a brand, Lipstick Queen, which I also like. But today I want to show you my Bobbi Brown Art Stick, which you can use it on cheek, on eye, shadow, but I love it on lips, and particularly in the Zoom era, when I only wear black clothes and I'm very pale. I'm doing red lips these days on Zoom. So the color of Bobbi Brown pencil that I'm wearing right now is Cassis, which is very red, and the one I'm holding is Rose Brown, which I would wear with Jill at CES on the Digital Health Summit stage. So, but I'm finding on Zoom I get washed out. So I need to wear the Cassis red on my lips. But this pencil is amazing, lasts a long time. It's a very chubby pencil, and I recommend it. And again, Bobbi Brown is not discount, but it lasts a long time. Yeah. And her products are awesome too.
Yeah, I've always been intimidated by darker colors. I don't know why. I think it's because I feel like my lips are so small, and I feel like it exaggerates it. But I've been playing a little bit with a little bit darker here at home. I have like a little bowl of all my favorite lipsticks. Yep. And I've been playing a little bit. Not today though. Today's a little bit lighter. But yeah, I've always felt slightly intimidated. I love that color on you. So let's move into my favorite area, which is technology.
Yay. Oh boy, there's so much we could talk about. And you and I have grown up on this over the last decade, from the early days at the Consumer Technology Association CES show, where we would see, Fitbit and Under Armour and Nike, and, it was early days. And now, of course, as you know, digital health has grown like topsy. So I have many, many, many devices. I buy some of them, and sometimes companies send me things to try. But lately, I'm really interested in, of course, my Apple Watch, which is ubiquitous. Lots of people have that. But I'm now wearing an Oura ring, O-U-R-A, which many athletes are wearing. And Jill Gilbert's wearing one, I see.
Love it.
And I'm using it especially for to help me with my sleep, with sleep monitoring. I found with a watch or with the Fitbit over the many years I've been monitoring my sleep, it's too cumbersome. I don't want to wear a watch to bed. I don't want to have something under my pillow or under my mattress or on my wrist. I mean, come on, I like to sleep the way I sleep, and that's where I'm going to go on that. But the ring is doable during sleep. So I'm really into the Oura ring. I've only been using it a couple months, but it's going well, and it's teaching me some things. So I love the ring, and go ahead.
And it connects to a great app. And that's,
yeah.
By the way, I will say one caveat is that it takes a little bit to get used to. It is definitely, not that you guys can see, but it's like definitely a thicker ring. And I usually wear it on like one of my middle fingers. Well, I only have one middle finger, but so I wear it there, and it did take a while. And there are times where I think, oh God, I can feel it. But to me, the benefits outweigh it. And the application, being able to wake up every day and see a wonderful sleep, like your sleep broken down really, really well, like how much did you actually sleep? And they're using the most sophisticated technology, as well as I love the readiness score. The readiness score is like, how ready are you for today? So should you be taking a little easy, not working out today? You had a really rough sleep. And it's not just from last night, it's like over time they're looking at it. So
yeah, there's real AI in there. There's real data integration. Mm-hmm. It looks at many things at once. Your heart is in there, which is really important. That's kind of table stakes for health technology now, heart function. But I'm really enjoying it. And I agree with you. The form factor can be clumsy, particularly I have quite small hands, which might surprise people, with kind of chubby-ish fingers, but I'm used to it now. And in fact, the Apple Watch is quite big for my little wrist too. So you get used to things if you're motivated. But speaking of sleep, there's another technology that I use in tandem with my Oura now, and it is the Calm app, CALM, which you'll see if you're watching TV and binging, at least network TV or news shows, which I have to do for work, unfortunately. And the Calm app has something called Sleep Stories, where people read you to sleep. You could listen to fantasy stories. You could listen to, they do a lot of travel stories. So last night there was a new one on a seaside town in Britain, which reminded me of trips we used to take. And you take a train to this little town, and it's an old seaside town with a beach and gardens. And by the time the 30 to 35 minutes are done, you are out. And it's beautiful. So I'm really liking Sleep Stories on the Calm app, which really put you to sleep. And I have a little bedside, a little pillow speaker that goes under my pillow from the C Crane company, C.Crane. And there are other pillow speakers, but I really like my C Crane speaker, which I travel with a lot. Well, when we were traveling.
I have never heard of a pillow speaker. That is awesome.
It's a little round, I'd say, silver dollar sized speaker that fits in a little fabric, like French terry cloth pouch. And then there's a long wire that hooks into your iPad, your iPhone, your Bose radio, and whatever you use to access a podcast or a story or an app. So yeah, C. Crane has been creating these for a year, I would say well over 15 years. It's old technology. It is not Bluetooth. It hooks into or has the little single prong that you would go like into a transistor radio if you're that old to remember that. In any case, though, it does go into an iPhone or a smartphone or a tablet. So I use it on my iPad. My iPad is next to my bed, which is basically my radio next to bed for Sirius and things like that.
That's awesome. And just so you guys know, we'll put all the links in the show notes for all these fun things if you want to check them out.
Well, that's great. Yeah. I'm glad. In terms of technology, there's another area that's getting short shrift and really started to get short shrift in the Great Recession of 2008 and again in the pandemic. That is oral care, dentistry. A lot of people have put off going to the dentist. So we have to do much better at self-care in the because it's kind of a scary thing to go to your dentist. There's a lot of aerosol going on with you spitting and breathing close and all that. So my hygienist, who's a good friend over the many years I've gone to her, recommended to me when I told her I didn't think my Sonic toothbrush, I won't give you the old brand I used, was doing as much for my gums as I wanted. So she recommended the Waterpik Sonic Fusion. And what's very cool about the Waterpik Sonic Fusion is two things in one. It, of course, has the Sonic toothbrush that other brands have. And then there's another button that forces water through the brush to the gums so that you're water flossing your teeth. And I'm a big flosser with, good old-fashioned Glide. So I'm going to pull that out in case we go. So this is the old-fashioned Glide floss. I carry these everywhere. I'm a big flosser and a big oral care person in general. But it sounds gross, but when you use this water flosser, all this other stuff comes out that your brushing didn't catch and the string didn't catch. I'm not kidding. This water flossing that Waterpik is doing, it's amazing. And my thing with the water flossing is there's a little plastic, like a box, a container, a little tank that fits on top of the unit. I fill it with quite warm water because the cold water was very sensitive to my gums. And when it's warm, it's very soothing. After you do your brushing with the Sonic brush, you then press a different button and all this warm water goes through your mouth. And I'm telling you, it's kind of relaxing almost. Plus, you're getting more stuff out of your interstices between your teeth. So when I go see Michelle, my hygienist, in a week, I will go see her to do my checkup. She's going to see the Waterpik's made a difference. And that is the Sonic Fusion, which is not just the single Waterpik. You have to get the Sonic Fusion that has the water aspect for the flossing. So that was a revelation. That's a new thing.
And this is the same brand that, if it's called Waterpik, right? It's the same brand that's been around forever. I can picture my dad's. It was kind of like a sort of muddy green colored Waterpik that was always on. I used to go in and sneak and use it.
Yeah. So this is what we call innovation, an old brand coming up with new tricks.
Love it.
And oral care is something we've got to take seriously. Oral care is related to heart disease and all kinds of comorbidities. So, with the fear of going out or just being busy or not having dental care insurance, you can take this on, spend the $150, $175, and you're averting future spending on cavity. And of course, periodontal care is very expensive if you need to have your gums fixed. Yeah. So I'm really keen on. Yeah.
Most of us don't even have dental insurance these days. So.
And even when you do, it's largely like 50% of the price. And if you have a crown, you're looking at $500-$600 shared.
I had an amazing boss I worked with, and he always used to say, "Penny saved, pound foolish," or he called it he called certain things chump change. Like it was worth, paying the pennies up front to avoid the gigantic bills in the end. So
yeah, well, that's when I talk about value, whether it's skincare or oral care. These are investments in you and your health. averting your need to be with the health system, which is really one of my goals in my work.
It's great advice.